Tissues. What are tissues? In order to understand the function and the significance of tissues, let's have a look at the organizational level of living organisms. As you know that what is the fundamental unit of all the living organisms? So you know that the fundamental unit of all the living organism is cell. So cell is, although itself is capable of performing all its function, but as the complexity increases, then the organizational level also becomes complex. Then what happens? Number of cells, they combine to form what? They combine to form tissues. Tissues combine to form organs. Organs combine to form organ system, and organ systems combine to form a complete organism. So why this kind of coordination is occurring? Why complexity is increasing? Because when the cell is unicellular, when the organism is unicellular, a single cell is capable of performing all its function. But as the number of cells are increasing, then in order to increase the efficiency of the process, the tissue formation occurs. So how we define tissue? What is a tissue? Tissue may be defined as a group of cells that are similar in origin and structure and combine together to perform a specific function. That group of cells is known as what? That group of cells is known as tissues. So when the cells that are having almost similar structure, similar origin, and they all combine at one place to perform a specific function, then that is known as tissue. So significance of tissue is that they are responsible for increasing the efficiency of process, so that each and every system is capable of performing all its function more efficiently. Then the other thing is, of course, as both plants and animals are living organisms, both have got that tissues. Animals are also made up of cells, and cells combine to form tissues. Plants are also made up of cells, and cells of the plants also combine to form the tissues. Then can we say that the tissues of plants and animals are similar? Of course not. They have some differences, and that differences are very important because they make the basis of the difference between the animals and plants. As you can see that the animal body is more complicated, they are performing more different types of activities. Then in animals we have large variety of tissues, right? But in plants there is less number of variety. So you can say in plants the variety in tissues is much less as compared to that in animals. The another difference here is that most of animal tissues are living, whereas most of plant tissues are dead. Right? Why so? Because animals, as you know, they are motile, they keep on moving from one place to another for various reasons. They are moving in search of food, they are moving in search of shelter, they may be moving in search of mate, and for this movement they are going to require lot of energy. And in order to produce that energy, most of the animals' tissues are living. On the other hand, as plants are not motile, they are stationary. In that case, they require less energy, and because of which most of the plant tissues are dead, because they require less energy but more of mechanical strength. So, is it that living tissues are not going to provide the mechanical strength? No, not like that. Like live and non-living tissues or dead tissues, living tissues are also going to provide mechanical strength equally. But the only difference is that the living tissues do not require any, dead tissues, they do not require any maintenance. On the other hand, living tissues, they require more of maintenance. That's why most of the plant tissues are dead, right? Another difference is there that in animals, there is no differentiation of dividing and non-dividing. Right? But in plants, plant tissues are divided in two types, that is dividing and non-dividing. Why this difference is so? Because you know, in animals the growth is uniform. It's not like that one part is growing and another one is not. So all parts of animals are equally growing. So all cells are capable of undergoing division and all are dividing. Whereas in animals, the growth is localized only to, whereas in plants, the growth is localized to only some parts. That's why in plants, the tissues are divided in two types, dividing that are meristematic tissues and non-dividing that are permanent tissues. So that is the basic difference between animal and plant tissues.